Hey everyone. Today we're talking about relationships, other relationships on our wheel. And it's such a huge topic, isn't it? And there's so much that could be said about it. So I was thinking if we try and just maybe today just think about two main areas that this exploration brings up to the light. And the first is the use of a relationship to define us or to set out how we are. And if we think about like the close-in relationships, our parents or our kids or our siblings, what that relationship, like from misunderstanding, that relationship would seem to be an indicator of our worth, or how these people see us, or how our kids are doing, what they say about us. There's so much invested, there's so much of our identity tied up in that dynamic, isn't there? And the things that people say that are so close into us, that know us better than anyone or should, the things that they say can really pierce into that protection that we've got going on, like really show the unmet need when we're needing something from them and we're not getting it. And so we can see how without this conversation we're just lost, really lost in those dynamics that are so changeable and so totally out of our control, and yet we're trying to use them to stabilize this idea of self, or friends as well, like if we're using the number of friends we've got, or lack of friends, or what people who should be inviting us out and aren't, if that's becoming a means in which we judge ourselves, then we're in hell, aren't we? We're literally in hell, because all it takes is one little picture on Facebook of some people going out, and you're sitting at home watching Netflix, like me most of the time. Then we're lost, aren't we? We're for that moment we feel neglected, we don't feel worthy, we feel there's something wrong with us, we feel unpopular, all these things. Bam, this sudden identity is here. So this is all so interesting and so indicative of the restless identity that seizes on these things and uses them as information to confirm this belief in this self that isn't ever quite right, never really has it nailed. So that's the first area. And through this conversation, it just becomes interesting. We're not trying to deny those feelings. When someone says something and it hurts us, or we weren't invited to something, or we're not denying those feelings. We're seeing where they go in. They go in at the level of identity. Always, it's always at that level. It's always, I'm not okay. I'm not worthy. They aren't giving me what I need. They don't love me enough. They don't approve. Whatever it is, it's at this superficial level of an entirely thought and belief created self and other. absolute freedom to see that, total freedom to see that, because then these things come in, these arrows, they pierce the armor, but the fact that they're piercing the armor is a good thing, because that armor is not protecting anything. It's just taking effort and focus and attention and energy to hold this armor in place. And then the more the arrows come in, the more we explore what actually is going on there. What is that? And oh right, nothing there actually to protect. So we're all good. Yeah, which leads us on to the second area then. So once that whole protection thing starts to lighten, starts to be seen for what it is, then what happens? And this is really interesting, because before, all relationships are essentially about securing the self. And so no wonder, we look out for, it's well sort of documented that we look out for commonalities. We want to be with our tribe. We want to, if someone's in a similar job to us, whoa, yeah, we can chat, but can't really chat to that scary person over there who I've got nothing in common with. So all relationships is like securing. And now, without any need for that to happen, with nothing to secure, then all relationships become an expression of unconditional love. All of them. And because there's no barriers in place, what's happening is that instead of it all happening at this superficial level of do you confirm my beliefs, in which case great, we can hang out together. Now it's the true space of this freedom and unconditional love that I am is speaking to that in you. And it doesn't matter what's going on the surface. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what job you've done. It doesn't matter, whether you've got kids and I haven't, or you've worked abroad and I haven't left Marlborough. It doesn't matter. Those things are totally irrelevant. There's this. I was almost crying then because it made me think of kids. Like I don't know if you ever, like, kids on holiday. They play. They have the most fun, don't they, with other kids? And it doesn't matter if they can't even speak the same language. They just like find a ball from somewhere and off they go. And that's what's going on, is that inner, the freedom and the love, the joy, the exuberance of life connects with that in someone else. And that's beautiful then, isn't it? That's only what's ever really going on. And it also means, and I think this is really interesting, when there's nothing to protect, when there's no need for validation or approval or love or to feel worthy or accepted or included, when there's no need for any of that, in the absence of need, that voice of freedom and love speaks. So we don't find ourselves doing favors when our whole body is saying, why would you? Like, no, you've got so much on. We don't find ourselves putting up with bullying or aggression or relationships that are completely one-sided, you know. We might, if it like if that chimes with love and freedom, which it might do, you know, like when, like, you know, someone like my cousin working in a psychiatric unit puts up with all sorts of swearing and violence because it chimes, that chimes, him being in that environment chimes with the love and freedom that he is. You can see that, can't you? But when it doesn't, then the body will move away, and that's enough. You know, words will come to say, no one speaks to me like that. So it's not like, I don't want to give the impression that there are behaviors that when we see who we are, we say yes to them or no to them. It's not that. It's the seeing of who we are, and then from that deep inner yes or no, there will be an openness or a moving away. And it comes from the lack of need of an identity to leach out of some situation some element of approval or acceptance. Interesting one. There we go. Good. Okay. Speak to you all soon. Bye.